everyone, it's Walter C., and I want to thank you for joining me today as I continue a tour of my hometown, the place I grew up, the beautiful Havre de Grace, Maryland. Today I'm going to hang out with Joe Lertch of the Vineyard Wine Bar, and hopefully we'll talk wine, have some good food, and maybe dispel some of your fears of wine. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Joe Lertch, L-E-R-T-C-H. We're at the Vineyard Wine Bar in beautiful, historic downtown Havre de Grace, Maryland, right here where the Susquehanna River meets the Chesapeake Bay. So one of the reasons we ended up in Havre de Grace, and there's a little story to this, I'll make it as brief as possible. We looked at 23 different locations before we settled here in town. This is the most beautiful, most quaint, most easy to get around town that we've been in of all the 23 locations we looked at. We knew this was the space. The old adage, if you build it, they'll come. Well, we weren't certain what the population was in the county, weren't certain about the area, weren't certain about who would support us or who wouldn't support us from a wine drinking perspective, but we knew that this was the right location. So after 23, this ended up being the spot where we came. So the Vineyard Wine Bar is a wine bar in its true sense, meaning that we carry wine and we don't carry spirits. So I've always said from the very beginning, if we have enough call for martinis and Manhattans and scotch and bourbons and other mixed drinks or straight drinks, we'll open up a place across the street. The goal of the Vineyard Wine Bar has always been to be a true wine bar with a large selection of by the glass, by the half glass, and by the bottle wines. When a customer enters the Vineyard Wine Bar, they can expect to find an assortment of grapes, wines from all over the world. Yeah, it's true that there's a lot of Chardonnay out there, and there's a lot of Cabernet, and a lot of Pinot Noir, and a lot of Malbec, and the list goes on and on and on. But when you enter the wine bar, we want to be able to showcase not only those wines, but we want to showcase really the wines that are indigenous grapes from around the world. Wines from Greece, wines from Spain, wines from Italy, wines from France. So we like to play with things like Marzemino and Grappello and Incroci Manzoni, La Crema de Moya, things that are unusual, things that are fun. Yeah, we've got Chardonnay, we've got Sauvignon Blanc, Pinot, and all the rest of it, but we've got some really, really cool, unique indigenous grapes and things that are hard to find from all over the world. We offer them by the glass. We offer them by the half glass. So if you're just not that, let's say, adventurous, looking for something by the glass, you don't know if you could quite handle that, we offer a half glass so you get the opportunity to taste that before committing to a glass or before committing to a bottle. And the beautiful thing too about the wine bar is that not only do we offer these wines by the glass, by the half glass, and by the bottle, but we also offer them to go. So here at the Wine Bar, not only do we have a great wine selection, but we have been rated one of the top 10 best food establishments in Greater Baltimore. We've got a wall full of awards for being a restaurant, which we never really planned, I should say, to be. It turned out that way, but we never really planned to be a fabulous restaurant, and yet we have a wonderful chef. Our food is just amazing, and the write-ups, the reviews, the pictures that are taken, the awards we have on the walls for our food, we're very, very proud of. We work very, very hard at it. It's not something that comes easy. We're very demanding with our purveyors. We're very strategic and detailed with our approach towards our plates, towards our food combinations, and very proud that someone has acknowledged that people have acknowledged to be able to give us the awards that we have. One of the pet peeves that really bothers me is going to a restaurant, ordering something, and having the so-called sommelier or wine steward come over, ask them a question, what goes great with this? And they've got an answer. I think that's wrong. I don't think that you can give anyone an answer without asking them a couple of questions first. I might think that this white, sweet wine goes great with this meal, but the customer might hate white, sweet wine. I might think that this dark, deep, red, tannic wine goes great with this meal. but that consumer might like lighter, sweeter style wines. So it's impossible to say, oh, this is going to go great with that dish. No, we have to ask the questions. What do you normally drink? What do you like about that? Are you willing to stay in your comfort zone? Do you want to be a little daring and step outside the box? Only then, having those questions answered, can we choose a correct wine, a proper wine, a wine that's going to work with that meal so that the experience you have is off the charts. That's our goal. So sometimes people feel uncomfortable about entering a wine bar. Wine itself conjures up this image of stuffy old men with their ascots and their noses in the air as high as their glass. And it's something that has always bothered me. Back in the time when I was learning about wine, I tried to be a sponge. I tried to suck in as much knowledge as I could. I read every book I could get my hands a hold of and basically spent my paycheck at all the retail stores buying different bottles of wine. One afternoon changed my life. I was entering a new wine shop that I'd never been to before. And in that wine shop, they just happened to be having a private tasting. I wasn't invited, didn't know anything about it, but I happened to be fortunately dressed to the part that looked like I should be there. They invited me in, gave me a glass, and I figured I'm going to learn something here today far and above what I could learn from books. I found 3 guys standing in a corner, dressed as I had just previously mentioned. Noses in the air, glasses in the air, using these big wine words. I thought, wow, I'm going to learn a great deal here today. As I entered up to their conversation and politely excused myself for interrupting, they made me feel like I was an inch tall, laughed at me, and I turned around, set my glass down, walked out of the shop, humiliated, got up to the next corner, said to myself, I'm going to learn more than I can possibly ever hope to run into anyone like that again about wine. And when I have that knowledge, we're going to share it with anyone that'll open up their eyes, open up their ears, and want to learn. So here at the Vineyard Wine Bar, our staff is highly educated. We do everything we can in our power to make wine enjoyable so that those that walk in here may be a little bit intimidated by wine, walk out of here with a smile on their face, just loving the experience they had and learning so much more about wine than they ever thought they could in that short period of time. When you walk into the Vineyard Wine Bar, it's a relaxed environment, soft music playing in the background, a little bit lively, a little bit comfortable. Maybe some tunes that you're familiar with from the past. We want you to sit down, relax, enjoy yourself. Here, we say the world slows down. We're not in a hurry. This is not a turn 'em and burn 'em, as we call in the industry, type of a restaurant. It's a place where we want you to come in. We want you to relax. We want you to enjoy yourself. A customer said to me once, I have the best job in the world. I stopped for a second, looked at them a little startled and said, what do you mean by that? I work more hours now than I ever have in my corporate adult life. I make less money than I ever have before. He stopped me and said, yeah. But when people walk in here, they're smiling. They can't wait to come. And when people leave, they're smiling. They've had such a wonderful time. You make people feel good. This place makes people feel good. You've got the best job in the world.